Chairman, and I'd like to thank the Chairman for how they started off these public hearings. I believe with Steve and Kristen today, it's a very appropriate way to begin the process by remembering those whose families paid the ultimate sacrifice on September 11 and recognizing the sense of urgency and the importance with which this committee has to go through and conduct its work. And Ms. Hill, thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Having gone through some other investigations on other committees, recognizing the importance of how you approach this work and the intensity and the professionalism and having to put up with members of Congress. So thank you for being willing to go through that process. As you've gone through and done the analysis, have you also taken a look at other attempted terrorist activities during this time frame which may have been prevented because of knowledge that we had beforehand and things that might not be part of the public record? Have you uncovered anything like that?
You mean other actions by other groups or other?
By Al-Qaeda or other groups that, you know, where they had been planning on attacking the United States, and for one reason or another, those attacks were thwarted?
We have heard some of that. I mean, we have not focused on that because we've been focusing on the information on terror aircraft as weapons and the September 11th plot. But certainly in talking to people, there were successes by the intelligence community against Al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups. There were also, you know,
other
failures. So,
I
mean, it was, and I think, I didn't read that part, but in our statement, we talk about the fact that that it was a very difficult target for the intelligence community. Al-Qaeda had a lot of operational security. They were hard to penetrate. They were hard to get them to talk about things that would help you. It was difficult. There were resource problems. But despite all that, the community did amass a lot of information on them, and they were engaged in operations against Al-Qaeda, and there were some successes, but there were also some failures.
As you go through this process, will you also overlay policy decisions that were made either in Congress or at the executive level? Specifically, I think this morning Steve talked about, and I'm not sure exactly what the words were, but the inability to penetrate organizations like Al-Qaeda with human intelligence, and recognizing that during parts of the 90s, you know, there were decisions that were made that changed the way that the CIA and other organizations could actually recruit human intelligence.
You gonna recognize?
I think that area, I mean, those are all valid policy questions, and it's relevant to how you, you know, how you combat terrorism in groups like this, obviously, because penetrating a group like this is tremendously important. It's a valuable source of intelligence. But I think those are issues that we will probably address. As I understand the chairman, one of the things we want to do as we get further away from the facts, we're trying to get the factual review out first, go to the systemic problem, and then look at possible ways to reform the community and changes and policy issues and those sorts of things. So I would guess that those issues would be addressed once we get into where do we go from here in terms of reform.
Because it's very, very clear that the intelligence community and the various agencies don't operate in a vacuum. There are policies and decisions that are that are made over a period of time that will have an impact on the culture within the various agencies as to their ability to recruit or how they will use or who they will access for human intelligence. There's also decisions that are made by Congress in terms of the funding levels and direction and those types of things, and that, you know, that as the report moves forward, we will get a fuller context of where the breakdowns will be, some of which may have occurred within the intelligence agencies, some of which may have occurred in the other parts of the executive branch, or some of which may have occurred in Congress because of decisions that have been made over here, so that we get that full picture of what went on.
Right.
That will all be, those are all areas that you plan on looking at?
I mean, the game plan, so to speak, is to look at the factual review, get through that, then look at the systemic issues, and then decide how those systemic issues can be addressed through reform. And what you're talking about, I think, would be in the systemic issue problems, restrictions on our ability to penetrate into humans, sources, that's human, and then where we go from here in terms of reform.
Good. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back my time.